So in this tutorial, I want to show you guys if you've drawn a picture in your journal or sketchbook that you might want to add to one of your photos, how you can do that using this website, Photopea. So in our previous tutorials, I showed you how to use the type tool. I showed you how to do some image adjustments so that you can make your image look how you want, adjusting your color and lighting. This time, I'm going to walk you through, it's a little bit trickier since it involves multiple files, but if your photo is really contrasty, it has really dark darks and really white whites, it shouldn't be too hard for you to be able to pull your photo and put it into an image. So first thing I'm going to do is I am actually going to take a picture of my drawing. So here is my email. I took a picture on my phone, sent it to myself, and then now I have it here. From there, I'm going to download it. If you're using a Chromebook, it's often good to click on the file and see where it went. And then I'm going to go back to Photopea where I'll open those photos. So I'm going to go ahead and do File Open, and I'm going to check my downloads. I'm going to open this photo, and it should open right here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually crop the photo into the area that I want so I don't have to worry about all the rest of it. Go ahead and crop that. So now it's just the piece I want. And I'm also going to rotate it. I like looking at things the direction that I did them. So if you go ahead and go to Image, Transform, this is where you can rotate your picture. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it that way. Now I can see it. Now a good trick on Photopea is you can zoom in and out using the Command key on your keyboard and the plus sign. If you get too zoomed in, you can do Command minus, and it'll let you zoom out. So you're just holding down Command, pressing that plus key, holding down Command, pressing that minus key. So now I've got this. Basically what I want to be able to do is just select all those little black lines that I've done. I don't want this whole background. You might, but it depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to show you how to select that area. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to actually adjust it so that I have a really white that I'm working with, and my blacks are really black. This way it's going to make it easier for my selection, and then it'll hopefully make for a cleaner drawing in the end as well. So to select something, there are a few different tools you can use. There's object selection, quick selection, and magic wand. And those are all going to be under, I think it starts with your object selection. So what you'll do is you'll just click and hold that down. I like to use the magic wand tool because what it's going to let me do is click on all the white and not click on the black. So what I can do is I can just delete all the white behind it and then have the black around it. If you're dealing with a solid shape, you can mess with quick selection or even object selection. Really just depends on what you're using. For this one, you also want to look at the top and notice some of these different settings. These here are what you're selecting. So this first one is a new selection. This next one is adding to your selection. This one is subtracting from your selection. And this one will even give you a sort of in between. I tend to just like to use this new selection, and maybe sometimes I'll add on. Also, you can mess with your tolerance. So your tolerance tells the computer how much of a color you want. So if I zoom in, oops, if I zoom in here, you're going to see that my tolerance is actually selecting most of the black. And this is because of that object selection option I was using. But you can see that I have these little gray lines in here. And because I don't want those selected, I'm actually going to change my tolerance from maybe a 10 or a 20 to a 30 or a 35, maybe even 50, depending on what you need. So once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and use my magic wand tool. I'm going to click on the page, and you'll see that it gave me all these little marching white ants sort of around my shapes. You can zoom in, you can see those a little bit better. I also might start going in, use that add, and even click on a few of these little areas where it didn't totally get all of that gray for me. So I don't know if you're noticing, but there's a few little spots where I want to get rid of these little grays and make sure it's all selected. I also want to get rid of the white inside of my earth. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those areas. And I think I even have a couple of spots where I might see that later on, but we can always adjust afterwards. So I have everything selected. Now what I'm going to do is just hit delete. And now what you can see is that it's just giving me the selection of my shape, which is really great because this I can use in other places. I'm going to go ahead and do select, deselect, gets rid of all those little marching ants, and now I have this image that I can use. Now, I actually want my image to be white. So instead of having everything black, for the picture I'm going to put it on, I actually want it to be white. So there's a really great option that I can use called invert, and see how I totally switched everything? Everything that was black became white, and all of my white spots actually became black. So you can see a few of those here. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about those. You can always go back to your tool, go back in and select those, and that'll do that for you. So I have my image now. I'm going to go ahead and click on this box, and I'm going to draw a box all the way around this picture so that it's all selected and it's ready for me to move into my other photo. All right, so I have my image prepared. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do File, Open, and I'm going to find the picture that I want to use to put this on top of. So something I've been thinking a lot about lately is that with all of these changes and with a lot less people, the environment has actually gotten a lot better. There's a lot less pollution from less people driving. And so my reflection for this image is what the difference it's having on the earth. So I got my little drawing here. I'm going to go ahead and just do Edit, Copy. So now it'll copy everything inside that square. I'm going to go back to my photo, which is opened up on this other tab here. I'm going to go Edit, Paste. And you'll see it brings it right into my photo. And it actually brings it in as another layer. So what's great about that is because it's another layer, I can move it, I can adjust it without messing with my photograph. So I kind of want to resize it. Now if I resize it just how it is, I can squish it, I can do all sorts of crazy things with it. So I hold down my Shift key. And what the Shift key does is it locks your image into place so that you can't mess it up or make it all wonky. Maybe you want to, but if you don't, that's a really great trick you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust it to size, move it into place how I like it, and then when I'm done, I can just hit that plus sign. And there we go. This is how I've taken an image that I drew or something I wrote in my journal, took a picture of it on my phone, messed with it a little bit in here, used that magic wand to select what I wanted. I often select the background. You can also choose to select the actual image itself. It really just depends on what you're doing. I'm going to delete that background and then go ahead and copy and paste it into my photograph. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If this can be really tricky, so if you are having trouble, just let me know. I can even help do the selection for you and create something that you can just drag and drop into your photo. Now, important to save. Always with these, if you have multiple layers, go ahead and do a file, save as PSD. This you can easily send me. I can always open them up. What's nice about this is that if you wanted to go back in and edit it, you absolutely can. If you wanted to upload it to social media, you can always do file export as JPEG, and that's a file you can use. But for now, save it as that PSD so we can make any changes we might need.